Morning tea, morning. Seems we're only allowed one day of sunshine and then it looks a bit dark in here, so I do apologise. I'll try and adjust, but I think it's just the fact it's a little bit gloomy outside, unfortunately. So hopefully you'll be able to see me okay. So how is everyone feeling? I hope you're feeling bright and breezy. I am an unashamed, unapologetic morning person. I get up early, rarely need an alarm. I'm one of those really irritating people that can be up and ready and full of conversation almost the moment I get up. Whereas I know my husband is a night owl and he takes much, much longer in the morning to get going. So I think this new book that I read about is for him. And it's a book by a brother and sister team. They're both psychologists called Kate and Toby Oliver. And their book is called Rise and Shine, How to Transform Your Life Morning by Morning. And they've taken the acronym SHINE and they've divided it up into 5 categories, all of which are doable, unlike some of these sort of influencers you might see on social media when they're talking about their morning routines. And it involves kind of healthy smoothies and meditation and journaling and candles and all sorts of things, which for most of us mere mortals, any one of those is kind of a win, and to do all of them is completely unattainable. But this is really realistic and I really like it. So these 5 categories, their SHINE method are. So the S is for silence and stillness. So finding that time in the morning, even if it is just a moment, maybe when you're drinking your cup of tea, or just a moment where you can kind of balance yourself and kind of gather yourself for the day ahead without any other interruptions. And it kind of helps you feel centered and calm. And I really think that has a lot of sense to it. And the next one is happiness. If we can face the day with a positive mindset, then, science has shown that we're far more likely to be able to deal with the challenges that we face every single day, some days more than others, with a positive and can-do attitude. I is for intention. Almost knowing what you want to achieve or focus on throughout the day will help you, rather than getting to the end of the day and thinking, gosh, what have I done today? How have I wasted the day? And it might be something that you want to do, task you want to tick off, something you want to achieve, or it might simply be a feeling that you want to carry forward with you into the rest of the day. N is for nourishment, not just what we eat for our breakfast, but what we imbibe with our eyes, what we listen to, what we read, all of that will have an impact on our state of mind. If we're constantly doom scrolling, it can really set ourselves up for a very negative mindset. And it is for exercise, to move our bodies, perhaps especially if we are very sedentary in our day jobs, to be able to move the body gently in the morning, really again, just gets us going and sets us up for greatness. So let's see if we can tick some of those 5 categories off in our practice today. And that'll be morning practice to get us ready to face the rest of the day, get us over this midweek hump, if indeed you're feeling it. So we're going to start by lying down on the mat. We're going to tick off that first box straight away with a moment of stillness. So as you lie yourselves down, before you settle into stillness, feel free to hug your knees in towards your chest and maybe have a little massage of your back against the floor there if your lower back sometimes feels a little tight in the morning after laying in bed. And then go ahead and bring your feet down and you decide how your lower back is feeling as to where you want to position your legs today, maybe with the feet wide and the knees touching, or the legs straight out in front of you, whatever feels good. I'm going to keep my knees bent today. And just make sure you're centered on the mat. So maybe just lift the hips for a moment, have a little wiggle into the low back. So you're nice and balanced across the back of the pelvis. You do the same across your shoulder blades, very middle of the back of your head resting on the floor. And then take a moment to let the body settle, to find that moment of stillness. I read this lovely quote that the first hour of the morning is the rudder for the rest of our day. And I think there's a great deal of truth in that. We start off the day feeling discombobulated, anxious, stressed, we're chasing our tail, I think we're far more likely to carry that forward with us into the rest of our day than if we can find a moment to center and calm ourselves. And hopefully being able to carry that forwards with us into the rest of the day. And as we settle into our practice, you might want to find that moment to create and set an intention. It might just be for your practice. It might be for the day you have ahead of you. The one I chose today is I am centered and calm. So coming back to that feeling of being centered and calm as you use the breath now to soothe the nervous system by deepening and lengthening each breath. And we're breathing down into our lowermost lobes of the lungs, right down into the belly. We're sending those messages to the nervous system that we're feeling relaxed, there's no threat. Almost telling the nervous system that you can stand down, you can just relax for a moment. All is well. So retaining that sense of calmness and quietude now throughout the practice. Let's extend the legs out in front of you one by one. Reach the arms back above the head. Have that lovely full body stretch. Nothing like it in the morning. Have that big stretch. Maybe have a little wiggle into the sides of the body there as you open up into the space behind you and in front of you. Lovely. Taking a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, we're going to lower the arms, walk your feet back in towards you. And this time we're going to bring your feet and your knees together. And just let your knees drop out to the side, so you're coming into that little reclined butterfly pose. If your hips feel really tight, just slide your heels further away from your bottom. Maybe just have a little rock from side to side there, just again settling the low back. Beautiful. And then from there, we'll come into a version of our shoulder bridge. So if you don't like this version, you can always bring your feet flat to the floor and hip width. Otherwise, with those knees wide, as you inhale, we're going to lift the hips just a little ways off the floor, keeping the knees wide. And as you exhale, bring those hips back down. So inhaling to lift the hips up, squeezing those knees out to the side. Probably isn't a very big lift up through the hips there. Let's do that a couple more times, pressing into the little toe edge of your feet. Let's do that one more time. We're going to lift all the way up. And then coming all the way down, keeping those knees wide, just bring your fingertips onto the tops of the thighs. And then reaching that right arm all the way back behind you, really lengthen through the right side of the body, take it out to the side level with the shoulder, and then sweep it all the way down to the top of the thighs. You're drawing a nice circle with the arm, other arm, reaching the left arm back, and taking that circle out to the side, bringing the hand back down. Right arm lifts, inhale. Exhale to circle all the way out and back to the thigh, and then the other side. We'll just do a couple more like that, alternating through the sides of the body, alternating the arm that's moving, really lengthening the arm back as you inhale and taking that big scoop of the arm when you exhale. So we're just opening up into the shoulders. Let's do that one more time each side. So right arm lifting up and back, lengthening, and then taking a big scoop back. Last time with that left arm. Coming all the way back down. And this time I'm going to take both arms up and over. Just pause there for a moment, softening the ribs. And then we'll bring the arms out level with your shoulders, palms up towards the sky. Reaching out through the fingertips. Going to close your right knee over to the left knee. Coming into a little twist. Now you can keep the knees or far away from the body, or give them a little scoop up towards your chest, and maybe use that left hand on the top knee to draw it a little closer down towards the earth, reaching out long through the opposite arm. Maybe even turning your gaze over that right arm if that feels okay on the neck this morning. Now you can keep both knees bent, or you can straighten that top leg, keeping the knees stacked, and with a flexed foot, you're stretching the right leg away from you and then lifting that top hip away from you so we're not collapsing into the underneath waist. Getting a nice stretch into the outer thigh if that feels good this morning. And then bending the knees, keeping the knees together, bring the knees back up towards your chest and place one hand on each knee. Keeping the knees together, let's just close the hips for a moment as you take a little circle of the knees round, massage for the low back. Doing that one way and then in the opposite direction. And then bringing the feet back down to the floor, letting those knees drop out nice and wide. So again, we're back into that reclined butterfly, hands down by the side of you. As you inhale, we're going to push the hips up, squeezing the knees out wide, and exhale to lower. A couple more times, so we're strengthening the back seam of the body, the glutes, opening up through the hips. Let's do that one more time, lifting the hips up, and then lowering the hips, keeping the knees wide, offer both arms all the way back above the head. Pause there for a moment as you stretch out through both sides of the body, and then bring the arms out level with the shoulders. And this time, left knee closes to right knee. And again, you can drag those knees a little closer towards you and use your right hand on that top knee to gently encourage the knees to drop down. Maybe gazing over that back shoulder. And if you want to straighten that left leg, flex the foot and then lift that top hip away from you so you really feel that your underneath waist hasn't collapsed into the floor there. A lot going on, so if you just want to bend both knees and keep the knees stacked, you feel free to do that today. Lovely. If you've got that leg straight, let's bend both knees. Bring the knees back up towards the chest. Now you can either repeat that with your hands on the knees and take the knees round in a circle, or a little harder, take the arms out level with the shoulders and then circle the knees. So working into the core a little bit more if you're not using your hands to steer the knees round. The further the knees drop away, the more we're using our core, and then change direction. So you decide what feels right on the back today. Let's do one more circle. And then bringing the feet down, hip width apart this time as you lower the arms down by the side of the body. And then hug that right knee in towards the chest, just the right leg. Holding around the back of the leg, we're going to take that leg up towards the ceiling. It's a little hamstring stretch, just to point and flex or circle the ankle there, just bring some movement. And then flexing the foot, really pushing up through the heel. And we're going to cross ankle over opposite knee. Pressing that knee away from you, or feel free to pick up that left foot and come into reclined pigeon, either holding behind the thigh, or you can hold just below the knee, the front shin if that feels good for your hip. It's a much deeper stretch. So again, listen to your body. And bringing that right shin in towards you, pressing the knee away from you, whatever you're doing with that left foot. Let's take a couple of nice breaths there. Encouraging that stretch in the hip. Let's release that foot all the way back down, swapping sides. So right foot to floor, give that left knee a little squeeze, and then take it up towards the ceiling. And as again, you bring some movement into the ankle, just make sure that you haven't lifted your pelvis, back of your pelvis up off the floor there. Little circles, little point and flex. And then we'll cross ankle over opposite knee. You can stay there, just push the knee away from you. Or again, picking up that right foot, interlacing the hands behind the thigh, just below the knee. And again, you might settle into that stillness, or you might have that little rock from side to side. Again, just listen to your body, what feels nice today. And then releasing, bringing both knees into the chest, give them one last loving hug. And maybe this time, pick up the head and shoulders, rounding the spine, bring your nose towards your knees. And then lower the head, lower the shoulders, We'll cross the ankles and roll our way up to seated. Beautiful. I'm going to sit with right leg in front of left leg, but you can always choose another position if that feels better today. Lovely, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to bring the right fingertips to the floor and just reach that left arm out level with the shoulder. Just sweep that left arm in front of your face and then open the chest up towards the sky as you come into that little side stretch and then come all the way back out. We take an inhale. Exhale as you swoop the arm all the way over the top of the head and then back out to the side. Lovely. Couple more like that. Just scooping the arm up. So you're really trying to turn your chest up towards the ceiling, getting that lovely stretch. This time we'll hold the arm pulling back. You can look up or down as you just soften into that right elbow. Maybe you can slide the hands a little further away. Lovely. Pushing off that right hand, both arms lift up as you inhale. And take a twist around to the left this time. So bringing that right hand across the body, left hand behind you. So you can sit up nice and tall as you inhale. And exhale. See if you can find a little bit more rotation through the spine there. Lovely. Reaching the arms up, take an inhale. And as you exhale, both hands come down behind you, leaning into the hands, pushing the chest forwards. You can maybe lift your hips up off the floor today if that feels good. A little squeeze at the bottom. And then lower the hips. Push off the hands as you reach up. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands down in front of you. Just walk the hips back as you extend the arms, coming into a little forward fold. And trying not to lose that connection through the sit bones, so make sure you've not lifted your bottom of the floor. Reaching up through the side of the body, and then take both hands over to the left side, stacking your right hand on top of your left hand and drawing back through that right hip. Breathing into that right lung. And then we'll swap sides, coming over to the right, left hand on top of right hand, pressing the arms away from you as you drop that left shoulder. Lovely, coming all the way back, walk the hands towards you. Just going to bring your hands to your knees and see if you can lift your legs up off the floor, keeping them crossed, and then recross the opposite way and sit them all the way back down. So this time you've got left in front of right if you're with me. Left hand down, right arm out to the side. We'll take that big swoop and open. And then inhale, reach out. Lovely. Exhale to pull the arm back, open up through the chest. And then reach out. Lovely. Let's do that twice more. So we're really trying to find that lovely length through the side body. We're going to hold this next time, putting that top arm back. You can look up or down as you slide that left hand a little further away from you, stretching out. Pushing off that underneath hand, let's reach up. And this time we'll twist around to the right. So we'll bring that left hand across the body. Other hand behind you so you can sit up nice and tall. And then settle into that space. You can always look over that back shoulder if the neck feels comfortable doing that. Reaching the arms up, taking that inhale. Exhale, hands behind you, leaning into your hands so you can push the chest forwards again. Option to press the knees down as you lift the hips up. Keeping the gaze up towards the ceiling, and then we'll tuck the chin in, pushing off the hands, reaching up as you inhale. And exhale, bringing the hands down, walking the hips back, and taking those arms a little further away from you if that feels good. And then we'll walk the hands to the right, stacking left hand on top of right hand, so you're really pulling back through that left hip there. And then over to the other side, right on top of left. Lovely, walking the hands in front of you. We're going to bring the hands back towards you. Hold on around the knees, so again we can hover the feet off the floor. This time maybe coming into a boat pose, so you've got your ankles level with your knees, reaching the arms out if that feels good, lifting up nice and tall through the chest. Lovely, bring the feet down, give yourself a hug as you round over your knees. And then we'll find our way onto all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips there. So finding that nice firm tabletop position, so really spreading the fingers nice and wide. Pressing gently down into your shins. And from there, Let's bring a little bit of movement. One of my favorite moves as you inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. And exhale, rounding the spine, our cat-cow. So simple and yet so effective. Inhaling and exhaling. It's so lovely to do in the morning to really just awaken the body, stretch out through the chest and then stretch out through the spine. Let's do that one more time. Lovely. And then from there, I'm going to shift the weight into your left knee so you can extend your right leg all the way back behind you. If it feels good, you can offer the opposite arm out. So left arm, we'll take an inhale. Exhale, everything squeezes underneath you. Lovely. Inhale, extend. Exhaling, elbow to knee. Let's do that twice more. So if you want to keep the hands on the floor today and just work the knee, if you're feeling a little bit wibbly wobbly, that's fine. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. And exhale to squeeze. Let's extend and hold if you can. And then we'll bring the hand down. Keep that leg extended as you flick that left shin behind you. Coming into a side plank. Lifting that right arm up towards the ceiling. An option to take it alongside the ear. Lovely. And we've got the option here to bend that top knee. Reach round and see if you can take hold of the ankle. Push your foot into your hand into your foot. Keep pressing those hips forwards. Lovely. Extend arm and leg one last time. And then bring the hand down. Can you keep that leg extended a little longer as you just bring that shin behind you? And then we'll tap the toes down. And just roll over the toes of that right leg. So you've got your right leg extended long back behind you. Nice. And then from there, lifting it one more time. This time, just sweep it out to the front of the mat. Bring it to the outside of the right hand. You can always move that back knee back. So both hands are on the inside of that front foot. Turning the toes out, maybe letting that knee roll open if it feels good. Right arm lifts up. Let's take that inhale. And exhale, bringing both hands back down. Lovely. One more like that. Knowing you can stay here this morning. And bringing the hand down. If you want a little bit more, let's reach the arm up. This time, see if you can bring your elbow down to the inside of the foot. Inhale to open the arm up, up, up. And exhale to bring the hand or the elbow down. We're going to do that one more time. Inhaling. And exhaling. Lovely. Let's take the arm up one last time. Maybe leaning back a little ways to open the chest. And then we'll bring the hand down. Placing that foot on the floor so the toes are pointing forwards. Move the hips back and lift the toes. A version of our hamstring stretch. Lovely. Bend the knee. Let's come back onto all fours. Inhale as you lift the chest. Exhale, taking a child pose, walking the hands forwards, coming up onto the tips of your fingers and thumbs. Just taking the heat up the wrists a moment. Turn around the opposite way. Lovely. And then we'll come all the way back up onto all fours. So this time shifting the weight into your right knee, we're going to take that left leg all the way back behind you. Option, right arm extends as well. Taking that inhale. Exhale as you squeeze everything together. Inhale, extend. And exhale to squeeze. Lovely, twice more. So again, if you're feeling wibbly wobbly on one side, you can always keep the hands down on the mat and just work the leg one more time. Let's hold with that arm and leg extended, lifting that front arm a little higher. And then bring the hand down. We're going to keep the leg lifted as you flick your right shin behind you. Keeping that left leg extended, we'll take the arm up. And then reaching it alongside your ear if you wish, coming into that side plank. We've got the option to bend the knee, reach round, catch hold around the front of the foot. So you're pushing your foot into your hand into your foot, opening up through the hip again. Then arm and leg re-extend all the way back behind you. Keep the leg extended as you bring the hand down. I'm going to tap that shin back behind you and then tap the toes down. So we're rolling over the toes, stretching out through the feet. Then lifting that left leg one last time, ready to swing or help it to the top of the mat, outside of the hand. And we'll move the back knee back a little ways. Toes turn out, maybe let that knee roll open. And we'll take that left arm all the way up as you inhale. And exhale as you bring the hand down. Lovely. And again, inhale. And exhale, option to stay there. This side might feel different, or the next time you come down, let's bring the elbow to tap down. Deep hip stretch. And again, inhaling. And exhaling, hand or elbow, you decide. We're going to do that one more time, reaching up. And tapping down, and this time we'll take that arm up and pause, maybe leaning back a little way as you open the chest. And then placing the hands down, so we're still on the inside of the foot, turn the toes forwards, and then move the hips back for that little variation of our hamstring stretch. Lovely, planting the foot, let's come back onto all fours, taking that inhale. And as you exhale, let's take the hips back, and this time, propping yourself up on your elbows. Just take some little movements with the wrists. You can make fists or just circle the wrists there. It's really taking the heat out the wrist for a moment. And then coming back into that child pose, reaching the arms out nice and long. And then from there, coming onto all fours, this time ready to tuck the toes under. We'll take the hips up and back into that downward dog. And just have that little pedal out through the feet there. Just finding that easy breezy downward dog, whatever feels good this morning. And from there, we're going to lift the heels up nice and high and just spin your heels over to the right. Keep pressing into both hands. We'll come up through the center and then the same on the other side. So you can continue with that, or as you drop your heels over to the right, you're going to bend the knees and press your bottom back towards your heels. And then come all the way back for a downward dog. Heels to the left, we bend the knees and we press back. Let's do one more, either just dropping the heels or with that little kind of half squat towards the back of the mat. Last time over to the left. And we'll meet in downward dog. This time from your downward dog, inhale as you ripple forwards to plank. And then knees down, chest down. Lovely, hands nice and wide, coming onto the tips of your fingers and thumbs, ready for that lovely open-hearted cobra. Gonna lift on up, lifting the chest, just have a little peep over your right shoulder towards the back of the mat. And then we'll come all the way back down. So rising up as you inhale, lifting and looking over the left shoulder. And exhale to lower. We'll do one more each way. Obviously, if your neck doesn't like that little twisting motion or your back feels it, just keep the gaze forwards. Let's do one more. And release. Lovely, hands under the shoulders. Let's push back all fours. And from all fours, lift the hips downward facing dog. Beautiful. From downward dog, let's bend your right knee. Just stretch that left heel down towards the floor just for a moment, opening up into the back of the leg. And then right leg floats up to the sky, taking an inhale. And as you exhale, step it forwards, top of the mat. And we'll lower that back knee and flatten the toes. Both hands on that front knee, pushing yourself up into that low lunge. Keeping the right hand on the knee. I'm going to take the left arm into a little cactus. So the elbow is roughly level with the shoulder. And then we'll extend the arm up into a side bend, taking that inhale. And as you exhale, come into that cactus. And then see if you can bring that left elbow down towards the left hip. So you're taking a lean to the left. So inhale as you reach up and over the top. And exhale to squeeze elbow to waist. Lovely. A couple more times. So we're lengthening the waist. And then shortening through the waist. Lovely. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. Let's come into that cactus, both arms coming into that cactus now, lifting the chest, maybe taking the gaze up towards the sky as you pull the elbows back, and then extending the arms up. Let's take an inhale. Exhale, bringing the hands down, maybe walking that front foot a little further away from you. Inhale as you lift the chest. And exhale, we'll come into that lovely hamstring stretch again. Slightly different now with the foot between the hands. So we've got the option just to rock backwards and forwards today if the hamstrings feel really tight. Otherwise, we're holding in that stretch. If you want more, as you inhale, lift the chest. And as you exhale, see if you can melt down over that extended leg. As you drop your gaze, you can just check that your hips are squarely back behind you, that they've not wandered to one side of the mat. Lovely. Let's bend that front knee, plant the hands, pick up the back knee. We meet in downward facing dog. Lovely. Rising up onto your tiptoes. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, drop the heels to the right and maybe bend those knees. Inhale to center and exhale, swapping sides. So you decide whether you just want to spin those heels from side to side. One more. You're adding that little push back. Last time to the left. And then we meet in that downward facing dog. From downward dog, inhale, roll forwards to plank. Knees down, chest down. Ease your way down between your arms. And then again, we'll widen the arms, coming up onto those finger tops. Inhale as you lift up, looking over one shoulder, doesn't matter which. And exhale to lower. And then over to the other side. So you're looking over the opposite shoulder. And then coming all the way back down. We're going to do that one more time each way. So it really doesn't matter which shoulder you're leading with. Hopefully we'll all be balanced by the time we do this next one. Lovely. Coming all the way back down, pushing off onto all fours. And we meet in that downward facing dog. Pausing there for a moment as you send those hips up and back, pressing your hands forwards and down. And then from there, let's float left leg up behind you, taking that inhale. Exhale, step or help it forwards, top of the mat. And we'll lower that back knee. Both hands on that left knee this time so we can lift ourselves up. And keep the left hand where it is, bringing that right arm into a little cactus. Lovely. So we'll extend the arm over the top of the head. And then take that little cactus and we lean over, so we're bringing elbow to waist. Lovely. Inhale, extend. And exhale to shorten. Lovely. Let's do that a couple more times. Big stretch. And then that contraction. One more time. Dropping the elbow, and then we'll hold in that cactus, bringing the other arm to join it so we can lift the chest, pull the elbows back, maybe lift the gaze, and then reaching the arms up. Let's take that inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down, maybe sliding that front foot a little further away from you. Ready to lift the chest, and then move those hips back, peeling the toes towards your face. And again, maybe you just want to move backwards and forwards today, the hamstrings. Really don't like the mornings. Or holding the hips back, lifting the chest as you inhale and melting down over that leg. Exhale. Again, checking out that the hips haven't wandered to the right side of your mat, putting them straight back behind you. And then we'll plant the foot, pick up that back knee, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. This time from your downward dog, start to walk your feet towards your hands, coming to the top of the mat. We'll bend the knees, cradle those elbows, and just let the body sway over the legs, really slowly and gently. Oh, lovely. Taking the heat out of the hamstrings for a moment as you bend the knees. And then releasing those elbows, slowly, slowly roll up to stand. Take your time to come up. And maybe take a little shoulder roll at the top. Lovely. Let me come round to face you. Okay. So a little bit just to warm up into the legs and really connect us with our breath, which is always lovely in the morning. And take the arms all the way out and up, moving really slowly. And as you exhale, just bring the hands down straight in front of you. Let me just drop the camera a little bit. So inhale as you take the arms up. And exhale to lower. Lovely. If you want to add a little heel lift as you take the arms up. And then as you keep those heels lifted, see if you can bend the knees and come down into a little chair pose. You can do all of this with the heels on the floor, keeping those heels lifted. Slowly, slowly we rise up, building up that strength in the ankles, she says, slipping. And exhale, heels stay lifted as you drop down into that chair. Lovely. Let's do that one more time. So inhale, pressing into the base of the big toe. Slowly we rise up. We're going to meet in that chair pose. Heels lifted or lowered, you decide. Take that inhale. Exhale. Lift the hips, come down into that forward fold. Lovely. Lifting up halfway, take an inhale. And exhale to fold over the legs. Let's rise on up. Taking that breath in, sweep the arms up. And exhaling, hands to heart. Lovely. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, we fold. Lifting up halfway, breath in. This time we're going to slide or step your right leg back behind you. And setting up for a high lunge, so walk your left foot towards your left hand. And when you're ready, let's rise on up into that high lunge, sweeping the arms up. We're going to come into that little cactus again, so draw the elbows down, maybe lift the chest. And then reach forwards, palms come towards each other as you reach the arms forwards. Lovely. Taking that little cactus as you inhale, open the chest. And then exhale, diving forwards. Lovely. Couple more times. Really feeling that balance, moving slowly with breath. Let's do that one more time. Inhale as you bring the elbows back. This time as you exhale, reaching forwards, keeping the palms together, let's arrow those arms up towards the ceiling, coming into that high lunge. Lovely. From that high lunge, draw the hands down to your heart. Hands at the heart, I'm going to shift the weight into that front foot, so you can slide or step that right foot in. Maybe keep the toes down on the floor today, or see if you can lift the leg and come into your warrior three. Little bend in that front knee. Reach the arms out to the side, coming into the aeroplane arms, pressing the back of the hands up to the ceiling. And then hands come back to the heart. We're going to come back into that high lunge. Big step back with that right foot. Sweep the arms up as you inhale. And then open up into your warrior two. So we're going to drop the back heel in. Walk that front foot to the middle of the mat there. And then reach out nice and long through the arms. Lovely. Let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, sink a little deeper into that front knee. Left arm reaches up and back. Inhale. Exhale as you've come forwards and down into our side angle. Hand or forearm to thigh. Lovely. One more time. Inhale, reaching up and back. And exhale as you come forwards over that front thigh. Lovely. Coming back into your warrior, arms out to the side. Let's straighten the legs, turn the toes forwards. And then reaching those arms up, take an inhale, ready for a forward fold as you exhale. Hands might find the floor, they might come onto your shins or your thighs. Just have a little bit of movement when you get down there, maybe just bumping the hips from side to side. A little stretch for the inner thighs. And then coming onto those finger tops, lift the chest as you inhale. And as you exhale, find that forward fold. Maybe keeping the hands where they are, or wrapping them around the outside of the legs, or even walking them back behind you, between the legs with your fingers facing away from you, just pulling yourself in a little tighter. Love. Bring those hands under the shoulders. Now, if your feet are very wide apart, go ahead and shorten your stance ever so slightly, and then drop your heels in, your toes out. Gonna rise on up, ready for our goddess pose, sweeping the arms up. And exhale, bend the knees, and just bring the hands down to the heart. Lovely. Right hand comes onto that right thigh. We're going to take the left arm up and over the top into a little side bend. Inhale to center. And exhale, we'll swap sides. Now you can keep the hand on the thigh, or this time drop down onto your forearm. And take the arm over the top of the head. Lovely. Let's do that one more over to the left. Beautiful. Arms out to the side. We're going to straighten the legs. Reach the arms up. Turn those toes forwards. Inhale. Exhale back into your warrior two. Left foot pointing forwards. Beautiful. Left arm rises. Inhale as you reverse your warrior. Exhale, take that wimble of the hands down. Little pivot on the back foot. We meet in downward facing dog. Option to stay there, or let's flow to a plank as you inhale. Exhale, knees lifted or lowered. You decide. Inhale into your cobra, maybe an upward dog if you're feeling bright and breezy. We meet in downward facing dog. From your downward dog, bring your feet, your knees together. You decide, depending on energy this morning, whether you want to walk, step, or hop to the top of the mat as you inhale. And then exhale, fold over the legs. How are we doing, team? Let's rise on up. We woken up yet? And hands coming all the way down to the heart. Lovely. Feet underneath the hips. Taking those arms out and up. Inhale. Exhale, slowly bringing them down in front of you. Let's do one more like that. Feet flat to the floor, inhale. Gathering that breath, a chance to regroup. Option, lift the heels. Inhale as you lift up. Exhale as you bend the knees, coming down into that little chair pose. Heels lifted or lowered, you decide. Inhale, you rise up, pressing into the base of the big toe. And exhale, bend the knees. Lovely. One more time, inhale. Exhale, we're going to meet in that chair pose. You decide whether you've got those heels lifted or lowered. Chest nice and lifted, taking an inhale. Exhale, drop the heels, come down into that forward fold. Inhale as you lift up halfway. And exhale, fold back down. Let's rise on up, taking that breath in. And exhaling, hands to heart. Let's try that little sequence on the other side. So inhaling up. Exhaling, we fold. Inhale as you lift up halfway. This time, left foot, slide or step it back. You decide, have a little wiggle back. Nice wide stance, walking your right foot to your right hand, ready to rise on up into that high lunge. Throw on the ball of the back foot. All 10 toes facing forwards. And we'll take that little cactus, so the elbows draw down and back. And then reaching forwards, bringing the palms together. Inhale as you open up into that little cactus. And exhale to reach forwards. Lovely. Couple more times. So building up the strength in that front ankle, front leg. Let's do that one more time. Inhale to open the chest. At this time, as you reach forwards, keep reaching forwards and we'll arrow those arms up into that high lunge. Lovely. Taking that inhale as you reach a little taller. And exhaling, hands come down to the heart. So ready for that balance as you shift the weight into the front foot. Just come onto the toes of the back foot. And maybe you stay there, or lifting that left leg this time into your warrior three. Maybe the arms extend out to the side like those little aeroplane wings. And then hands come back to the heart. We're going to come back into that high lunge. So big step back with that left foot. Arms lift up, inhale. Exhale, let's open up into our warrior two. So walk that right foot to the middle of the mat. Taking that inhale and exhale to sink a little deeper. Lovely. Right arm this time, inhale to reach up and back. And exhaling forwards over that front thigh. Lovely. One more time. Inhale, hips stay tucked under. Inhale to reach. And exhaling, coming forwards. Lovely. Let's come back into our warrior. Turning the toes forwards. Reaching those arms up as you inhale. And exhale to fold all the way down. Walking those hands forwards underneath the shoulders. Keep the weight back in the heels. Ready for a little twist this time. We're going to take that right arm up to the ceiling. Inhaling. And exhale to lower. Swapping sides. So you can let the hips move a little bit there. Lovely. Let's do one more with that right arm. And then one more with that left arm, keeping the chest nice and long. And this time as you bring the hands down again, if you're really wide in the legs, shorten your stance, heels in, toes out. Ready to sweep the arms up. And then bringing the hands to the heart, squeezing knees out towards little toes or come into that goddess. Lovely. Right hand or forearm to thigh. Let's take that left arm all the way up and over. Inhale to center. And exhale to swap sides. So hand or forearm, you decide. Let's do one more each way. That little movement of the arms. How are those legs doing? Beautiful. Let's reach the arms out. Arms reach up, turn the toes. Take that inhale. Exhale back into your warrior two, turning those right toes forwards. Let's reverse that warrior one last time, reaching up and back. And then tick-tock at the hands down. We meet in downward facing dog. You've got the option to stay there or roll forwards to plank with me. Inhale. Exhale as you lower. Inhale as you find your cobra or your upward dog. We meet in downward facing dog. From your downward dog, let's drop down onto all fours, big toes together, knees nice and wide. Take a moment in that child pose. Maybe making a little pillow for your head by resting one hand on top of the other. And just take a moment there to come back to that breath. Coming back to that intention of being centered and calm as you use your breath after the motion and the movement there. Begin to slow things down a little. And by all means, stay there with your hands resting underneath your head or reach the arms forwards like me, coming up onto the tips of your fingers of that right hand and feed your left arm underneath your right arm. Turning your chest up towards the ceiling as you have that little peep underneath your right armpit there. Lovely, and then we'll swap sides. So right arm feeds underneath left arm, making sure your shoulder is away from the ear there. We'll all extend both arms in front. Coming up onto all fours, just making sure knees are in line with the hips this time. And then we'll shift our weight forwards, coming down onto your tummy, once again making that little pillow for your head. And just stretch one leg and then the other back behind you. So you've just opened up some space in the front of the hips. And then right heel comes in towards your bottom. If you can reach around with that same hand and draw your heel in towards your bottom there. Extending out through the thigh, pressing the hips down into the floor. Lovely stretch. For that quad, we've worked the legs today, so let's stretch them all out. And then releasing that leg, we'll swap sides, so left heel comes up and we reach round with the same hand. A little squeeze of your heel in towards your bottom. And then release, bring both hands underneath your head for a moment. We'll bend both knees and just sway the legs from side to side. Extending both legs back, pushing your way back up onto all fours. This time from all fours, just spin your feet round to one side so you can sit down and extend both legs out in front of you. So you decide how your back has felt throughout your practice, whether you want to bend your knees deeply and wrap the arms behind the legs, or otherwise keeping those legs straight, reaching up, and coming into your forward fold this morning. So knees bent, it's not an easier version, it's just a different version. A much kinder version for tight hamstrings and backs. So you decide where you are today as you soften into that forward fold. You might even be able to move your hips a little further back, away from you as you lengthen your chest forwards over the legs there. And then from there, slowly roll yourself up or keep the legs straight out in front of you. Dragging that right heel in towards you. Either foot stays on the floor, or we can cross it over, or even tuck the other heel around behind you, but make sure that you've got space for your bottom there. Left hand or elbow brings the knee in without lifting the hips. Big circle with that right arm. Fingertips to the floor or hand onto the low back. Taking that nice inhale as you lift and lengthen. And exhale to twist and turn. Nice deep steady breaths there. Keeping the legs as they are, just move the body round in the opposite direction. And rinse out through the spine. And then extend the legs, give them a little shake. And we'll swap sides, so left heel comes up. Either foot stays on the inside, crossing it over, or again, making that little space between your heels to sit. Right hand or elbow drags the knee in. Big circle with that left arm this time, hand to the floor or to the low back. Sitting up nice and tall as you inhale. And twisting and turning a little more as you exhale. And then unraveling the opposite way. Lovely, coming back to center, giving those legs a shake. And then bringing the heels towards the top of the mat. So you've got space behind you. We'll extend the arms out in front of you. Dropping the chin, see if you can roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Bringing yourself down nice and slowly. And then reaching the arms above the head, coming into that full body stretch. You can have a little wiggle and a jiggle there. Lovely. And then from there, lower the arms. We're going to bend both knees and bring the feet to the floor, hip width apart. Let's bring that right knee in towards the chest. Giving a little squeeze there and then taking it back up into that hamstring stretch that we did in the beginning. It might feel a little different now as you flex your foot. Then come into a half happy baby. So as you bend your knee, you can either hold behind the leg or reach up, take hold of the outside of the foot and just bring that knee down towards your armpit. For a little variation today, maybe let that left knee roll open. Let's come all the way back through center, crossing right ankle over left knee, pushing the knee away from you. Option to stay there or coming back into that reclined pigeon, picking up the left foot, lowering the head and shoulders. And again, it might feel different at the end of a practice and at the beginning. Maybe more space in the hip. Slowly release that left foot to the floor, bring the right foot down and then give that left leg a squeeze. And then extend the left leg up towards the sky. Again, pressing down with the low back and then bend the knee. And again, you can maybe just hold on to the back of the leg or reach up, take the foot and bring that knee down towards your armpit. And you can let that right knee roll open, coming into that little version of happy baby there. The right knee comes back to center, ready to cross ankle over knee. Remember, you can just press the knee away from you, keep the right foot on the floor or pick it on up. And just come into your reclined pigeon just to finish off, just to stretch out through those hips. Again, I like to have a little rock from side to side, but you decide. And bringing the foot back down to the floor, bringing both feet hip width apart now, arms down by the side of the body. Let's lift the hips into that final shoulder bridge. Maybe this time, snuggling the shoulder blades underneath you so you can interlace your hands. And then see if you can lift those hips up a little higher. Bringing your chin to your chest to your chin. And then releasing the hands Down by the sides of the body, lifting the heels up off the floor, roll your way down, slowly, slowly, taking your time, giving your spine a little massage as you go. Lovely. And if there's anything else you need to do before you can find your position for Shavasana, legs extended or coming back to that position where your feet are on the floor, your knees are bent. I'm just going to sit up so I can talk to you. Closing down the eyes, taking that nice deep breath in. Breathing out whatever you don't want to carry forwards with you into the rest of your day, the rest of this week. Bad night's sleep, irritating conversation that might be kind of hanging around at the back of your mind. Seeing if you can leave that behind on your mat today so we can start the rest of this day, carry forwards into the rest of the week, unencumbered by anything that's preceded our class today. And just for a moment, just focus on your breath. When you're ready to start deepening and lengthening your breath. Movement perhaps just into your fingers, your toes, maybe a roll across the back of your head there. You might want to revisit that full body stretch before you bring the knees in towards your chest one last time. Ready to turn or roll onto one side and come to seated. Take your time, there's no rush. We'll meet with the hands at the heart, the chin just gently dropping down towards your fingertips. So the first hour of your morning is the rudder for the rest of your day. Well, hopefully we've used this hour of our morning, maybe not the first, but this hour of the morning to steer us on course to navigate whatever this day might have in store for us. Taking that nice deep breath in as you sweep the arms all the way out and up. And exhaling, hands to heart, have a great day. Ready to shine. And namaste. Thank you to you.
Thank you, Helen. That's very